The alien girl sat quietly in the corner of the great hall, her silver eyes watching the humans from a distance. She was not supposed to be here, but curiosity had led her to sneak in. The humans spoke softly among themselves, yet their words carried to her sensitive ears. One word repeated again and again, a word that made her heart beat faster. Reproduction. She tilted her head, trying to understand in her world. Reproduction was not spoken of with humans. It was forbidden. Their council had set strict laws long ago. Aliens and humans were never to mix their blood or their ways. But tonight, as she listened, something inside her refused to stay silent. The humans laughed lightly, sharing stories of families, of children, of life created through bonds. To them it was normal, to her it was a mystery. What did it feel like? How could two beings bring new life? The thought pulled at her mind like a thread she could not let go. Later, when the hall grew empty and shadows covered the stone floor, she followed one man, a human she had watched many times before. He was different from the others. His voice was kind, his steps heavy with honesty. His name was David. He always stayed behind after meetings, collecting scrolls, fixing broken lamps. He was not a leader, not a warrior, only a simple man. And maybe that was why she trusted him. She stepped forward, her long robe brushing the ground. The air seemed colder around her as she whispered, "David." He turned quickly, his eyes widening. He was not used to aliens speaking his name directly, especially not her. She was young, beautiful, and from a high-born family. Yet now she stood before him, trembling slightly. "I must ask you something," she said, her voice low. "A question no one dares to ask," David frowned. Concern mixing with surprise. "What question?" Her hands twisted together, her silver skin glowing faintly in the dim light. She looked down, afraid of his reaction. Then finally, the words slipped out. "What is human reproduction? And can I try it?" The silence that followed was heavy. David stared at her, his mouth slightly open. He almost thought he had heard wrong. But no, her eyes were steady, full of dangerous curiosity. "You should not speak of this," he whispered harshly, glancing at the dark corners of the hall. "If anyone hears, you could be punished. The council would exile you." "They would kill me, I know," she said quickly. "But I cannot stop thinking about it. I hear humans speak of it as if it is simple, as if it is natural, and yet our kind. We are forbidden to even ask." David rubbed his face with his hands. His heart pounded. He was only a worker, not someone who should deal with such a question. But the girl's trembling voice and desperate eyes pulled him closer. "Why do you want to know?" he asked quietly. She stepped closer until he could see the faint blue markings along her cheek, markings that glowed whenever she was nervous. Her voice shook. "Because I want to feel what humans feel. I want to understand how you bring life. I want to know if it is possible for one like me." To share that bond, David's throat went dry. He searched for words but found none. This was beyond dangerous, this was madness. "You don't understand," he said finally. "Human reproduction is not just science. It is love, it is connection, it is something powerful, something that binds people forever. It is not something to test like an experiment." Her eyes widened even more. "Then I must try," she whispered. "I must know. Even if it costs me everything." David's chest tightened. He saw the fire in her. The same fire he had seen only in humans who chose to risk their lives for something greater. The alien girl was ready to break her people's oldest law, and she had chosen him, a simple man, to help her. "You cannot," he whispered again. But his voice had lost its strength. Her hand rose slowly, her fingers brushing the edge of his sleeve. "Please," she said. "You are the only one I can trust. If you refuse, I will still try alone. And then it may destroy me." David froze. The hall around them felt smaller, the shadows pressing closer. His heart pounded like a drum. He wanted to step back, to refuse, to end this madness. But when he looked into her glowing eyes, he saw not rebellion but desperation, a hunger for truth. He exhaled, his voice low and heavy. "If we do this, if we even speak of this again, we may not survive." "Then let us not survive in silence," she answered, her voice like a spark in the dark. For a long moment the two stood in the quiet hall, staring at each other, human and alien, both caught in a choice they should never have made. Somewhere outside, guards passed by, their boots striking the stone floor. But inside only one thought filled the air. The forbidden question had been asked, and nothing would ever be the same again. David did not sleep that night. The girl's words kept echoing in his head. What is human reproduction? And can I try it? No alien had ever dared to speak such a question. Not in front of a human, not even in whispers. It was more dangerous than carrying a weapon in the council's chamber. Yet when dawn came, he still found himself walking toward the old storage chamber beneath the temple. He had chosen this place carefully. No guards ever came down here. The walls were thick, and the sound of dripping water covered soft voices. She was already waiting, her robe drawn tightly around her. Her silver eyes glowed faintly in the shadows. She looked nervous, but when she saw him, her lips curved into the smallest smile. You came, she whispered. I should not have, David said firmly, though his heart betrayed him by beating faster. This is madness. Madness is pretending not to care, she answered softly. You said it is love, it is connection. I want to know what that means. David sighed deeply. He sat on a broken crate and motioned for her to sit across from him. She obeyed quickly, folding her hands neatly in her lap. Waiting like a student before a teacher. Listen carefully, he began, lowering his voice. Human reproduction is not only about creating life, it is about two people choosing to share themselves completely. It starts with trust, with closeness, with something deeper than just the body. Her eyes widened. Deeper than the body? What could be deeper? The heart, he said simply. The mind, the spirit. The way two souls meet, humans are fragile. We cannot survive alone. That is why we form bonds so strong that new life grows from them. She leaned forward, her glowing markings pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. So when you speak of children, it is not only flesh, it is memory and feeling too? Yes. David nodded, surprised by her quick understanding. It is the most powerful bond we know. That is why we guard it so fiercely. That is why your council forbids it with us. They fear what such a bond could create. Her lips parted slightly as if she wanted to ask more, but words failed her. She touched her chest with one trembling hand. And if one like me wanted to share this bond with a human, would it be possible? David froze. The question was not innocent curiosity anymore. It was direct, it was personal. He looked into her eyes, saw the fire of determination burning brighter, and knew she was not speaking in theory. She wanted him to answer her. Him and her, not some distant pair? Possible? He whispered. Yes, maybe, I do not know. Our blood is not the same, our bodies are not the same, but bonds. Bonds are not always about the body. She smiled faintly. Then there is hope. He leaned closer, lowering his voice until it was almost a growl. Hope can be more dangerous than fire if anyone hears. They will destroy us both. Then no one must hear, she replied without hesitation. Teach me, David, teach me what it means. Not the flesh, not yet, but the feelings. The connection. For a long moment he simply stared at her. His mind shouted at him to leave, to walk away. But something stronger kept him there. She was not only curious, she was brave enough to step beyond the fear that ruled her people. David reached out slowly, his hand trembling. He touched her palm gently, skin against skin. Her body stiffened at first, then softened as warmth spread through her. This, he whispered, is the beginning. The first step of trust. Humans hold hands when they choose to walk together. Her markings glowed brighter, spreading light across her cheeks and neck. She stared at their joined hands as if they held a secret older than stars. And what comes after? She asked softly. After is closeness, he said. After is choosing to stand beside each other, even when the world turns against you. Her breath caught. Her voice trembled. Then teach me closeness. David's chest tightened. He could feel the weight of the universe pressing down on him, yet he did not pull away. He let her fingers tighten around his. He let the silence between them stretch, filled only with the sound of water dripping from the stone ceiling. At that moment he realized something. She had not come here only for knowledge, she had come for him. She had chosen him to be the one who showed her what no alien had dared to learn. Far above, in the temple, the council members moved through their daily routines, blind to what was happening below. But in the shadows of the storage chamber, a secret was forming. A secret that could shake the stars themselves. The alien girl lifted her head, her silver eyes glowing like moons. David, she whispered, promise me whatever happens. You will not leave me alone in this, he swallowed hard. Then gave the only answer his heart could form. I promise. And in that moment, the lesson was no longer secret knowledge. It was the first step of something forbidden, something dangerous, something unstoppable. The night was colder than usual. A silent wind swept through the empty corridors of the old temple, carrying whispers that no one could hear. Deep inside the storage chamber, David paced back and forth. His hand shook as he looked at the strange device on the table. The alien girl had built it herself using pieces of human tools and alien crystals. It was glowing faintly with blue light, humming softly like a heartbeat. "This is madness," David muttered, his voice sharp with fear. "You don't even know what this thing will do." She stood beside the device, calm yet trembling in her own way. Her silver eyes glowed brighter in the dim light. Her hands rested gently on the edge of the machine. "It will help me," she whispered. "It will let me feel what humans feel. It will let me try." David turned to her quickly. "You don't understand. Human reproduction is not something you can copy with machines. It is life, it is risk, it is—" His words broke, his chest tightening. "It could kill you." "I am not afraid," she answered softly. "I am afraid only of never knowing." "I must do this." For a long moment their eyes locked. He wanted to grab her hand and drag her out of the chamber, but deep down he knew he could not stop her. Her curiosity had grown into something unstoppable. She touched the glowing panel on the device, and the humming grew louder. A soft pulse of light filled the chamber, spreading across the walls like living fire. David's heart raced. His instinct screamed at him to shut it down, but his legs refused to move. "Lie down," she said gently. "It needs both of us." His eyes widened. "Both? What do you mean?" She lowered herself onto the platform connected to the machine. Her robe slipped from her shoulder, revealing glowing markings across her skin. The light from the device seemed to respond, growing brighter as if it recognized her. She looked at him with a quiet strength. "If I am to understand the bond, I cannot do it alone." David hesitated, sweat forming on his forehead. "If we do this, there's no turning back." "Then let us not turn back," she whispered. Against his better judgment, he stepped onto the other side of the platform. His hands trembled as he lay down opposite her. Their eyes met again, closer than ever before. The device flared to life, surrounding them in a cocoon of light. A sudden heat surged through his chest. His heartbeat pounded like a drum. Then, to his shock, he felt her heartbeat inside him too, beating in rhythm with his. She gasped, her body arching slightly. Glowing veins appeared along her arms, glowing brighter with each pulse. Her eyes widened in wonder. "I feel you, David. Inside me." David gritted his teeth as a wave of energy flowed through him. "This isn't natural. It's binding us." The machine hummed louder, the light pulsing faster. Their breaths synced, their bodies trembling as if pulled by invisible strings. Her skin shone like liquid silver while his chest burned with an unfamiliar energy. Suddenly she cried out, clutching her stomach. A faint glow spread there, soft at first, then stronger. Her voice broke as she whispered, Something is inside me." David sat up quickly, fear flashing in his eyes. "Turn it off. Stop this before it's too late." But the machine no longer listened. The crystals vibrated, glowing so bright the chamber shook. Sparks flew from the edges, filling the air with sharp flashes. She reached out blindly, grabbing David's hand. Her grip was desperate yet gentle. "Don't let go," she pleaded. "Please." "Don't let go." David's heart pounded. He squeezed her hand tightly. "I'm here. I won't leave you." Her breathing grew shallow, her body trembling as the glow inside her stomach pulsed brighter, like a small light trying to be born. The machine roared one final time, then burst in a shower of sparks. The room fell into sudden silence. Smoke filled the chamber. David coughed, struggling to see. He pulled himself to his knees, searching for her. His chest still burned with strange energy, but he forced himself forward. There she was, lying on the floor, her body glowing faintly. Her silver hair spread out like a halo. Her hands pressed against her stomach. Her eyes opened slowly, shining brighter than ever before. "I felt it," she whispered weakly. "Life." "I felt life." David froze, his entire body shaking. His voice came out broken. You created something." Before he could say more, heavy footsteps echoed above. Guards. Their armor clanged as they marched toward the chamber, drawn by the strange light. The alien girl's eyes widened in fear. She sat up quickly, the glow still burning faintly in her stomach. "They must not see me like this." The door above groaned as the first guard shouted, "Open the chamber." "Something unnatural is happening here." David looked at her, his chest heavy with dread. "It's too late." "They're coming." The girl grabbed his hand again, her voice shaking but determined. "Then we face them together." The chamber door burst open and a flood of light filled the room. The guards froze at the sight before them, the human and the alien. Bound by a glow that should not exist, gasps filled the air, and one word slipped from the lips of a soldier, trembling with disbelief. Impossible. The chamber filled with the sound of heavy boots, armored guards rushing down the stone steps. Their glowing spears cut through the smoke, lighting the scene with harsh blue fire. But when their eyes fell on the alien girl and the human, they stopped. The sight was beyond belief. The girl was glowing from within. Her silver skin pulsed with faint waves of light, concentrated around her stomach. The glow was not steady. It throbbed like a heartbeat, something alive trying to speak. Her markings spread wider than ever before, shining like rivers of fire across her arms, neck, and face. David stood beside her, chest heaving, his hand still holding hers. His body shook with the same strange energy, as if her glow had burned its way into him too. "What have you done?" one guard whispered, his voice trembling. The captain of the guard stepped forward, raising his weapon. "Step away from her, human," he shouted. "You've poisoned her body with your filth." David's jaw clenched. He wanted to answer, but before he could speak, the girl groaned. Her back arched, her head falling back, her voice cut the silence like a blade. "I feel it inside me," she gasped. Her body trembled violently. Her markings flared brighter, then shifted into strange patterns that no one had ever seen before. Some guards stumbled back in fear, crossing their arms as if to shield themselves from a curse. One whispered shakily, "It's not poison. It's transformation." David knelt beside her, panic in his eyes. "Hold on. Just hold on," he whispered, gripping her shoulders. "Don't fight it. Breathe. Breathe with me." She looked at him through half-shut eyes, her voice weak yet steady. "I am not fighting it. It is fighting me." The glow from her stomach spread upward, crawling across her chest, down her arms. The chamber shook as if responding to her. Dust fell from the ceiling, the air vibrating with raw power. Suddenly, her body lifted slightly from the floor, as if pulled by invisible strings. Her robe fluttered around her. Her silver hair glowed brighter. She looked less like a girl and more like a figure carved from light. The guards cried out, some kneeling, others turning their faces away. One shouted, "This is forbidden. This is an abomination." But another whispered, almost in awe, "No, this is creation." David's heart pounded. He reached up, pulling her down, holding her tight against him. The glow burned against his skin, but he refused to let go. "Stay with me," he whispered, his voice breaking. "You're not alone. You're not a monster. You're more than this." Her trembling slowed, her breathing uneven, then with sudden clarity, she whispered into his ear, "I can feel 2 heartbeats, mine and something new." David froze. His mind struggled to understand. 2 heartbeats? A chill ran through him. The impossible had happened. The captain of the guards raised his weapon higher, his voice full of rage and fear. "Kill them both before the corruption spreads." "No," another guard shouted, stepping forward. "Look at her." "That is not corruption, it is life." The chamber erupted in chaos, guards arguing, some pointing their weapons at David, others lowering them in shock, and then with a final pulse of light, the girl collapsed into David's arms, her body weak, her glow dimming. The energy in the chamber faded to a trembling silence. David held her close, his chest rising and falling. "She's alive. She's alive," he whispered. Her silver eyes opened weakly, staring up at him. "Did you see, David?" she asked softly. "Did you see the light?" "I saw," he whispered, his throat tight. And so did they. The guards stood frozen, torn between fear and awe. No one moved, no one breathed. The truth was written clearly in front of them. An alien girl carrying the impossible glow of new life. Bonded to a human, the captain finally lowered his weapon, his voice a low growl. "This must be taken to the council. They will decide your fate." David rose slowly, lifting her carefully in his arms. Her body trembled against him, still glowing faintly like embers refusing to die. His eyes met the guards, and though fear clawed inside him, he did not look away. "If the council wants truth," David said firmly, "then they will see it with their own eyes." The alien girl rested her head against his chest, whispering words only he could hear. "Do not leave me, David." "Promise, I promise," he answered without hesitation. The guards surrounded them, spears glowing brighter as they prepared to escort the pair to judgment. Yet none of them could shake the sight burned into their minds. The forbidden had already begun. The girl was no longer just alien, no longer just herself. Something inside her had changed, something that could not be undone. And for the first time, even the strongest warriors of her people felt fear, not of death but of what new life might mean. The council chamber was carved from black stone, tall pillars stretching upward like frozen flames. At its center, a circle of alien elders sat in their thrones. Their eyes glowed dimly in the shadows, sharp and cold. No place in the galaxy carried more weight than this hall. David stood in the middle of the chamber. His clothes were burned and torn, his face pale with exhaustion, yet his hands did not shake, because he was holding her. The alien girl rested weakly in his arms, her silver skin still carrying faint traces of light. Her markings glowed softly, pulsing with a rhythm no one could deny. The guards stood around them, silent but tense. Every face showed fear, not of the human, but of the girl. She was something new, something no law had prepared them for. One elder leaned forward, his voice sharp as a blade. "Bring her closer." David stepped forward. His boots echoed against the stone floor. His heart hammered in his chest, but he refused to bow his head. The elder's eyes narrowed as he studied the girl. "Her body carries human corruption," he said. "She is tainted. The law is clear. Such a being cannot be allowed to live." Gasps filled the chamber. Some nodded in agreement, others hesitated. The glow in her stomach pulsed faintly. Drawing every eye to it, David tightened his grip. His voice steady, though his throat burned. "She is not tainted. She carries life." The words spread through the chamber like fire. The elders stiffened, whispers breaking out between them. "Life?" one repeated, his tone thick with disbelief. The eldest of the council, a woman with markings as white as snow, raised her hand for silence. Her voice was calm but heavy with warning. "Explain, human." David swallowed hard. He looked down at the girl in his arms. Her eyes fluttered open, weak but clear. "Tell them," she whispered. He faced the council again. She used a device. Built from both our sciences, it connected us, and in that connection, something was created. I felt it, she felt it. It lives inside her now. The chamber fell into absolute silence. Even the guards shifted uncomfortably. The eldest elder rose from her throne, her robes brushing the floor. She stepped forward, her glowing eyes fixed on the girl. "Is this true?" The girl's lips trembled as she spoke, her voice weak but steady. "Yes. I feel two heartbeats inside me, mine and another. It is not poison, it is not curse, it is life." The words struck the chamber like thunder. Some elders cried out in outrage, "Blasphemy! This breaks the oldest law." Others leaned forward with wide eyes, whispering. One elder slammed his staff against the stone. "If this continues, it will destroy the balance of our kind. The bond between human and alien cannot exist. The law demands her death." David's heart flared with anger. He stepped forward boldly, his voice loud and defiant. "Then your law is wrong." The chamber shook with gasps. The guards raised their weapons instantly, but the eldest elder raised her hand, stopping them. Her eyes never left David. "You speak boldly for one so small," she said, her voice calm but dangerous. "Why should this council listen to you?" David's voice cracked but did not break. "Because I have seen what you fear, and it is not destruction, it is hope. You hide behind laws written in fear, but life does not follow your rules. Look at her, she is proof of what can be. You call it abomination, but I call it a beginning." The girl stirred weakly in his arms, her silver eyes glowing brighter. "He speaks truth," she whispered. "I chose this. I wanted to know. I wanted to feel what humans feel, and now I carry it. Would you destroy me for wanting to understand?" Her words silenced even the harshest voices. For a moment, the chamber felt heavy with something no law could measure. The eldest elder looked at the glowing girl for a long time, then turned to the other council members. "The law says she must die, but the truth says something else. Kill them both." One elder shouted, his voice echoing. "If we allow this, others will follow, and our people will lose themselves." Another elder shook his head. "Or perhaps they will find themselves. This could be a bridge between worlds, not a curse." The council divided before David's eyes, some shouting for death, others whispering of hope. The sound grew louder, like a storm inside the chamber. The eldest elder raised her staff, striking the stone floor. Silence fell again. Her eyes narrowed, her voice low and steady. "This is not a decision for us alone. The galaxy will decide. The people will see what has been done." David's heart sank. He understood her meaning. They would make the girl a symbol, either of doom or of hope. And the choice would not remain in this chamber. It would spread to every world. The girl tightened her grip on David's sleeve, whispering so only he could hear, "Whatever happens, don't let them take me from you." David leaned closer, his voice fierce with promise. "They will never take you. Not while I breathe." The council's judgment was not finished. But one truth had already been born. Her existence could no longer be hidden, and the galaxy would soon tremble when it learned what the forbidden question had created. The days that followed were heavy with silence. The girl was not killed, nor was she freed. Instead, the council locked her in a crystal chamber at the heart of the temple. Guards watched night and day. Their orders were clear: watch her, record her changes, and wait. David was allowed inside only for short hours each day. He never left her side when permitted. He brought her water, food, and comfort. But more than anything, he gave her strength. Her glow had not faded. In fact, it grew brighter with every passing night. The faint light inside her stomach had begun to pulse like a second heartbeat, sometimes soft, sometimes strong. Each time it throbbed, David's chest tightened with wonder and fear. The alien girl would press her hand to her stomach, her silver eyes wet with tears. "It is not only heartbeat, David, I feel movement. It stirs inside me." David sat beside her, holding her trembling hand. "Then it is real," he whispered. "Life has taken root." But outside their chamber, whispers grew. Some elders believed she carried death, a weapon of nature that would corrupt their kind. Others believed she carried a miracle. The galaxy began to divide. One night, storms rolled across the skies. Lightning flashed through the crystal walls. The girl collapsed suddenly, her body writhing in pain. Her markings blazed like fire across her skin. David rushed to her side, fear tearing through him. "Stay with me." "What's happening?" Her voice broke as she screamed, "It wants to come." "It is ready." The guards outside heard her cries and panicked. Some shouted to open the chamber. Others shouted to seal it. But inside, only David's voice mattered. "Breathe with me," he begged, gripping her hands tightly. "You are stronger than this pain. Don't fight it. Bring it into the world." Her body shook violently, waves of light bursting from her with every cry. The crystal walls lit up like suns. The guards shielded their eyes, terrified. And then, with one final scream, the glow exploded into the chamber, filling it with a warmth unlike anything they had felt before. When the light faded, David looked down and froze. His breath caught in his throat. In her arms lay a small figure, not fully human, not fully alien. Its skin shimmered faintly, soft silver with patches of pale human tones. Its tiny eyes fluttered open, eyes bright blue like his, but glowing faintly like hers. The girl wept, tears running down her cheeks as she held the newborn against her chest. "David, look," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Our child of two worlds." David's hands shook as he touched the baby's tiny fingers. The child wrapped them tightly around his, strong and alive. His eyes blurred with tears he could no longer hold back. But outside the chamber, the guards shouted in fear. "It lives." "The abomination lives!" "No!" another cried, trembling as he looked through the glowing crystal. "That is no monster. That is a child." The council rushed into the hall, their robes flowing like shadows. They froze when they saw the impossible sight. An alien mother holding a hybrid child, a human standing proudly beside her. The eldest elder's voice was quiet, but it carried through the chamber like thunder. "So it is true. Life has been born between them." Some elders shook their heads violently. "This is a threat to everything we are. If more are born, our kind will vanish." But others whispered with awe. "Or perhaps this is the beginning of something greater. A child who belongs to both worlds." The baby stirred, making a soft sound that silenced the entire hall. It was small, weak yet powerful in its existence, for it carried within its tiny chest the end of one age and the beginning of another. David lifted his head, his voice steady though his heart raced. "You can call it curse, you can call it miracle, but you cannot deny it is life, and life must be protected." The alien girl held the child closer, her silver eyes glowing with fierce love. "I will not let you take him," she whispered, her voice like steel. The council stood divided, torn between fear and awe. The galaxy outside would soon hear of this child, and every world would have to choose, fear the unknown or embrace it. But in that moment inside the glowing chamber, the truth was simple. The child was real. The bond was unbroken, and no law in the galaxy could erase what had been born that night. The child of two worlds. The news did not stay hidden for long. A child born from human and alien blood could not be kept secret. Within days, whispers became shouts, and shouts became storms that echoed across star systems. Some worlds called it a crime, an insult to every law ever written. "Destroy it before it spreads," leaders cried. Armies prepared their fleets, claiming they must erase the danger before it could grow. But others called it a miracle. Priests fell to their knees. Declaring the child a sign from the stars, families wept, imagining a future where humans and aliens could live as one. The galaxy had split in two inside the crystal chamber. David and the alien girl clung to the newborn. Their days were filled with fear, for every council meeting ended in more arguments. Some elders demanded the child's death. Others begged to protect it. The girl rocked her baby gently, her silver hair falling around her glowing face. "He doesn't know hate," she whispered to David. "He only knows love. How can they look at him and see a monster?" David touched the baby's hand, his own eyes heavy with exhaustion, because fear blinds them. But we will not let fear win. The chamber doors opened one morning with a thunderous crash. The eldest elder entered, her robes flowing like shadows. Behind her stood guards, their weapons dimmed but ready. "The council has decided," she said, her voice calm but carrying the weight of judgment. David tensed, holding the girl and child closer. "Then say it," he demanded. "If you mean to kill us, then do it here. But know the galaxy is already watching." The elder studied him for a long moment, then looked at the glowing child. Its small eyes blinked open, meeting hers with innocent blue fire. Her lips trembled, though her voice did not. "We cannot kill what has already changed the stars," she said. "But neither can we protect it alone. The galaxy itself must choose." She raised her staff, and the chamber's walls shifted. The crystal turned transparent, revealing thousands gathered outside the temple. Aliens, humans, and others from distant worlds. Their voices shook the air, half chanting for death, half crying for hope. The girl clutched her child tighter, fear in her silver eyes. "David, they will tear him apart." David stood tall, his voice breaking but strong. "Then let them see the truth. Let them look into his eyes before they decide." The eldest elder nodded, her staff striking the floor. The chamber doors opened fully, and the family was pushed forward into the light. The crowd erupted in chaos, spears raised, fists shaken. But when the girl lifted the baby high, silence fell. The child did not cry, did not flinch. Instead, it reached out with tiny glowing fingers, as if offering peace. Gasps spread through the crowd. Some dropped their weapons, others stepped back in awe. The sound of anger turned into uneasy whispers. "This is no monster." One alien murmured, "This is life." An old human in the crowd shouted, "If we destroy this child, we destroy the chance to change everything." But another voice screamed back, "If we let it live, there will be no going back." The galaxy was at war with itself, not with weapons, but with belief. The girl's voice rang out, clear and strong despite her trembling body. "I was forbidden to ask, forbidden to learn, but I asked anyway, and this child is the answer. If you call it curse, then you call life itself a curse." Her words struck deeper than any blade. David's hand rested firmly on her shoulder, his voice rising next. "You fear him because he is different. But difference is not death, it is survival, it is future. This child belongs to both worlds, and no matter what you say, we will protect him." The baby stirred again, its small cry echoing across the silent crowd. That sound, soft, innocent, unbroken, shattered something inside them. For the first time, many lowered their heads, not in fear but in shame. The eldest elder raised her staff high. "The galaxy has heard, the galaxy has seen. This child shall not be killed." Roars filled the air, some angry, some relieved. The decision was not peace, but it was survival. The galaxy would argue, fight, and bleed over this child. But it could never erase him. As night fell, David and the girl stood together at the edge of the temple, the baby resting between them. Stars stretched across the sky, vast and endless. She whispered softly. "We began with a forbidden question." David kissed the child's tiny hand, his eyes burning with fierce determination. "And now the galaxy itself holds the answer." The child of two worlds slept peacefully in their arms, unaware that his very breath had shaken empires, unaware that his existence had forced the galaxy to change. Her first attempt at human reproduction had left everyone speechless, but it was only the beginning.